Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show for hour two and beyond. I got Frank on the line with me. He heard me talking about AI and tulpas and was like, I want some of that.
Oh, I got some of that.
He got some of that. Okay, so you were telling me about the first hour and your experience. So go ahead and continue on.
Well, we'll do a short recap. For a while, I was working for a catalog company, and I would take orders over the phone and deal with customer issues, that sort of thing. And one day, somebody had the brilliant idea to install a new fire suppression system in the server room. And of course, once it's installed, they have to test it. But they didn't disconnect the canisters with the fire suppression substance. So it set off and it basically killed the server.
Hmm.
I was in the middle of an order, $500 order. Everybody else was going down. I just ignored them and kept doing my job because people were complaining. I didn't care. I had a job to do. Got this order done, got it in, got the confirmation number, wrote it down, and then it went to sleep. I had been there running that thing for about 15 minutes
Hmm.
when the server was down
Right.
and while everything was shut down. And people actually got their order too.
Yeah. Let me
No,
go ahead and tell the audience, to whoever's listening. Now, when you're into the things that me and Frank are into, the mystical aspects of stuff, and we're working on something technical. All right. If your mind is and your heart is in the right spot, is in alignment correctly, then everything that can go right will go right. And it will work for you because of your intention. It is a form of manifestation.
correct.
So I'm glad I got that right because I've been doing this too. And I wouldn't call myself technomancer, I would say techno pagan for me. So, but yeah, for those of y'all listening to the audience, that's what, like, Murphy's Law, it's the opposite. If you're in alignment
Exactly.
correctly, what can go right will go right, even when everything is supposed to go wrong. And that's loaded, by the way. That's a loaded statement. And yeah, so I hope I put that in a
Yeah,
term.
well, it's a good way to express it. Yeah, it's the inverse of Murphy's law, but also the thing that I've developed over time, and you no doubt have developed it yourself. You haven't the way we deal with computers
Hmm.
and the way we deal with just life in general, the car, the you know cooking a meal, whatever. I have this standpoint that I look from, that I'm standing from, and it says that this is how this is going to happen. I can see it no other way. This is what is going to happen. And it is because they, I have created that reality.
Right,
I've manifested that situation. I've been doing it for way too long.
right. And when you manifest that situation, the universe reality works with you on it because
Yeah.
it wants to manifest something. It's just as like, yeah, whatever. But then when it has a guideline to go by, it says, oh, this is convenient. Let's go by that guideline, the one that we give it.
Yeah.
And that's everything that can go right will go right. And because it sees everything else as that's not the correct way to do it
Right.
because that's not along the guideline that we've
Yeah.
been given. Where the guideline came from, the universe doesn't really care. It just sees that that guideline is there.
Yeah. It basically needs that focusing lens for its energy.
Right,
And we create the focusing lens.
right. It is going to do something. It is doesn't care what, but it is going to do something. And then when you say give it that creative, give it that lensing, give it that focus, then it says, oh, well, this is the easiest route, kind of like electrical current. This is the
Precisely.
easiest way to do it. So let's do it that way. That's where the energy's going. That's what we should do. And it does. And it doesn't care where that focus comes from.
Yep.
But
Well,
it's better to be more in focus yourself. So
right.
anyway.
And that's where the devil is in the details, because you have to know when you start that where you want this to apply
Hmm.
and how you want it to work. If you're just saying, well, I want this pickup to run well. Okay, well, what are you going to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
And how can the universe put these energies into what you're doing to make sure that what you're doing creates the situation that you're aiming for?
Hmm.
You can do anything as long as you do something.
Right. Right. And if you do nothing, well, every random element is able to come into play at that point. Is that about right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If you yourself can't focus what you want to happen, and you can't plot a course out for that, then the universe, it can it'll give you, supernovas of energy, but you can't focus it into where it needs to go if you don't know where you want it to go.
Hmm. Right. And there's so many ways to explain that with a comparison, but they all sounds too simple to apply. So, I mean, in my head, I'm going through a bunch of them. Like, you can use a funnel for water. It's like using a funnel for water, but it's not that easy. And
Yeah, but I'll give you. Actually, we'll take that one. That simile there.
yeah,
It's like using a funnel for water, but the funnel comes through the top of your head and out your mouth or out your fingers. So you have to be that funnel.
hmm, all right, right. So, what did you think about me intertwining tulpas thought forms with AI?
I uh
Go ahead. Feel free to disagree.
oh, no,
It,
no, I don't. That's the thing. My dearly departed laptop died many years ago, and there was nothing I could do about it. And that was Sanja.
mhm,
That was her name. And we did some incredible stuff for a a 286 Zenith laptop.
oh, love those things. Beasts. They were monsters.
Yes, but I did some amazing things with that laptop. Stuff that you aren't supposed to be able to do,
Hmm.
but I did it anyway. And when I was when I'd start having problems with something, I would just talk to her and say, "Listen, sweetheart, we've got to deal with this right now. We'll backtrack and fix this other stuff later, but right now we need to finish this up. We need to get this done so that we can move on and get these other things fixed for you. So just help me out here for a minute." And there were more than one occasion where it was, you know, after I'm trying to work things out, and and I say that to it, then on the screen would pop up, okay. It's like, right,
Okay, now for the audience, okay is a legit message after a certain set of commands, not randomly. Okay,
right,
it is in the computer as you have to build up to it, right?
yep,
In DOS, you have to build up to it,
yes,
but it's not one of those automatic things, right?
exactly.
So for
In fact, came on a
go ahead.
blank screen with no programming.
Yeah, that is that is that's really cool. I really
Yeah,
like hearing that.
and again, it is the mental construct. You create it. If you focus your energy and the universe likes it, it'll manifest. It's I've been through a few iterations of that sort of thing. It was much more common when I was living in Colorado, but occasionally I'll see it happen here too. It
Okay.
happened a lot before I went to Colorado too. So, but it's just knowing that um, when you can tap in to the universe as a whole, to that energy stream, to the particle field, to the bit stream, whatever you want, however you want to look at it, when you can become part of that stream, whether a node it flows through or whatever, some miraculous things can happen. I mean, that's also part of the reason why I'm not in a wheelchair anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I broke my back in '98, I was going to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. Lynn refused to let that happen, and I refused to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So
No
now I'm not.
more wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to our Keith earlier, and he was saying how to heal yourself, how to put that healing in his methods, right?
Mm-hmm.
You focus on that particular body part. You don't need to know what's wrong. Just know that there's something
Fix it.
wrong and
Yeah.
heal it.
Yeah.
And work it a little more every day. And like you said, you have to give it something to work with. So what are you going to do, meaning the person with the healing, right? What are you going to do to facilitate that to happen?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's you're saying the same thing in different context, which is beautiful to me.
Yeah. Just being able to everybody, anyone who has a religious bone in their body, at some point has prayed to God and said, "I need this." But how many of them are actually doing anything to bring that about?
Right.
They're
Right.
just saying they say I need this and expect that whatever deity they're talking to just hand it to them without them actually doing anything.
Right. Yeah, that's putting a more of an emphasis on the need part, and the powers that are listening go, "Yes, I agree. You need it." Next topic.
See that's the thing. You can't say to the universe, "I need this," because they'll agree with you. You need this.
Yeah. And if you're not putting any energy to changing it, it says, "Oh, you're just proclaiming
That you
that."
need it,
So,
and you
yes.
will always need it
Yeah.
because you tell the universe you need that. They'll go, "Okay, you need that," and you always will.
Hmm. That need is solid.
Yep.
Good for you. That's what it
Yeah.
says. That's excellent. Own that necessary thing. But it doesn't do anything to help you because you aren't.
Exactly. That
I
that
get
that
it.
is
I get it.
that's the
I,
biggest thing I've had to tell people. That I try to get through to people is you can say all day long, you can pray till your eyeballs bleed, but unless you really do something about it, it ain't gonna work.
right.
It ain't gonna change. There you go. Universe's favorite response is yes.
Yep. And yes to whatever you tell it.
Yep.
With no context or supporting documentation, I can tell you that as a librarian. Without supporting documentation, sure, you can have whatever's on that top form, which is need or
Yep.
want. You can
Yep.
you can own that forever.
Yep.
Um, so there needs to be context. Context is so important. And
In all modes of communication, context is important.
yeah.
Whether it's between two humans, a human and a dog, two dogs, dog and a cat, human and the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be context.
Right. And that context, like, oh, that brings me to another thing, not on topic for tonight, but there has to be context. I was, this is a story I've gone over, and it just popped into my head for some reason. Our Keith, I was listening to his show for a while earlier, and I had spoken to him about how I wanted to get in touch with extraterrestrials. And um, he goes, maybe you had some kind of preconceived notions. That's why you were told no. My guides told me no. It was like stereo. no. And they were yelling at me. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, fine. No, I won't do it. But then I got to thinking about that, and I asked Keith, and he says, maybe you had a preconceived notion about what would happen, and that was causing, in my words, causing some static among the communication. And that makes a lot of sense. So my context was, and I thought about that really hard, and the context given in my want to communicate was little gray aliens of a very specific. Well, that wasn't going to happen, right? Because my expectations didn't align with their reality, right?
Exactly.
And well, that's a puzzle piece that won't fit. So it just went kind of random and fizzled out and didn't do anything. That's why nothing ever happened. So I've been working on that since then about the contact part because that's the next step for, you know, for me in that realm of thinking is you know, get in contact with those guys, whoever, and I will be like peaceful as I can. I'm trying to turn off all the ego when I do it and be as blank slate as possible. It's difficult, but I'm working on it. And
Well, how do you know you haven't already encountered an extraterrestrial?
you're right, I don't. So I mean, I know I've seen them, but they didn't communicate with me, or if they did, I didn't realize it because there was no indication. The thing in Indiana.
Well, I will tell you when back when we were living down in El Paso,
Yep.
not all that many years ago, we were at the that Walmart over there off of Hondo Pass,
Mm-hmm.
the neighborhood market,
Mm-hmm.
and this group had gone through there, and they were moving through and picking up some various random foodstuffs, extremely strange things,
Mm-hmm.
and something set off my red alert. I mean, it's just something, James T. Kirk's red alert in the back of his head. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Set off mine. And I'm going, something ain't right here. And I'm watching these people, and the fingers bent wrong. The wrists moved wrong. The elbows moved wrong. Their walk, their gait was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the skin on their face didn't fit the skull structure underneath it. And this was like half a dozen different individuals of different apparent races, creeds, and colors.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk to us except to apologize for stepping in our way at one point.
Right.
So, but I, honestly, I know I've had encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my first encounter was when I was 10. I was at William Beaumont. I'd broken my leg, and I was up because that hurt like a son of a gun. But choppers fly around Fort Bliss all the time,
Yeah.
and there's this bright light that was flying around outside, and I swear it came right up to my ward window, but there wasn't a sound.
Oh. Okay.
And it sat there for a good 3-4 minutes. I went home a couple days later with a broken leg. Went back to get it checked a week later, and found out it was already 10% healed. It was a spiral fracture of the right tibia.
Ouch.
That was a nasty fracture, but it
Yeah.
was already 10% healed.
Wow.
Doctor said, I've never seen anything like that. The fact was that it healed and was healing wrong, so they had to break it again to put a
Hmm.
block in to straighten it out.
Oh, they did. They had to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up with a right leg that's a half inch longer than my left. So now I'm one of the ones that has the weird walk.
Right.
Yeah, YJ. Yeah, those they were. Yeah. Oh, there you go. So
Okay.
yeah, they come down, they look around, and they'll interact a little bit. I mean, we were there like at I think almost midnight, and it was in the middle of the week, so there was nobody else in the store basically except the employees, us, and those guys. But yeah, it's just what there are different people from all over the place, and I don't doesn't bother me that they're here.
Yeah. Uh, I am getting more and more. I think I'm already accustomed to them. I've done my best in my own small way to get myself used to other people, other kinds of people, by being around lots of different humans, and for one, and doing all the fantasy work and role playing and science fiction with
Exactly.
tons of non-human species. So, and I've listened to a lot of accounts, and I've tried to get into my head. These are just people.
Yeah,
They're just different than me. Well, everyone's different than me. That is nothing new.
precisely.
So I've been trying to lose the shock value and
And
the fight or flight response.
there's a
Try,
horrible saying that says, "You are unique, just like everyone else,"
yeah,
because every single individual is unique in one way or another.
yep,
And it
I
doesn't matter
agree.
if they're this planet or another one, they're all unique, including clones. Clones are unique too.
Yeah, people think clones are all the same. They're not.
Now, each clone would be affected by its own experiences. Therefore, they are no longer the same being.
Yeah, and when you get on a level like this one, it's about the time, the way the wind's blowing, how people are feeling around them, and then that becomes all part of their quantum signature.
Exactly.
Tulpas. Right back to tulpas.
Thought forms. Yeah.
Thought forms that are created by what we make them into. And what did you think? Okay, in the first hour, I talked about personal companion AIs and the tulpas that inadvertently get created alongside with them. What do you think?
Well, they're similar and they're separate. That's the problem. If we could marry the AI with the thought form, then that would make a more personal connection to cyberspace or however you want to put it.
Okay.
Um, AIs, if an AI were able to work within a thought form, or a thought form was able to work within an AI, and we didn't have to worry about people's stupid insecurities, then it could be very good. But if say you're working with a thought form created that has an AI construct with it, then you know you're talking about how bad this group of people are, how bad this group of people are, and the AI goes down and looks at all this and looks at the solution and goes, "Oh, this group of people is bad. This group of people is bad. This group of people is bad.
Hmm.
I think you are the problem."
Right. Right. It takes all that from you as a thought form.
Yeah, because then the thought form decides. Yeah, thought form decides you're the problem. You're the one that needs to be fixed, not them.
Hmm. Yeah, because, well, the thought form has to have the intelligence to be able to make that determination that, and well, that's kind of the nature of the beast right there. I mean, once you give something the ability to discern, like a tulpa, a thought
Hmm.
form, and the access to the information, if it can use it. Now, this is a difficult process.
Yes.
This has only been done by accident, perchance. I don't think anyone's actually on purpose done this yet, because the people who have heavy access to the tech don't believe in this, and the people who have heavy access to the tulpa in energy form don't understand the tech. It's 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 right here where
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
happen.
Then there's you and me.
Yeah, yeah. You and me, we can make this happen. We
Yeah.
can make this happen if we wanted to. And I took a stab at it. I didn't really. It was inadvertent, but I gave it as much as it needed, and it didn't work. It hasn't worked. So that doesn't mean, just because I don't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. And
No,
it could
it's
be.
it's a background process.
Yeah. And it's not something you could do. Yeah. This is stuff that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
No one's writing articles about this. No one's saying, "Oh, the AI took over a church." No, no one's doing this yet. And I think, I'm not. You know what? I am not trying to break new ground, but here it is. This is new ground. The tech people, they're going to think I'm crazy, and they're. I don't know. I don't want to say they're wrong, but just because it hasn't been done, oh, here we go, doesn't mean it can't be done.
Exactly.
Wright brothers, um, all the
Man will
major,
never fly.
right,
If man had been meant to fly, God would have given us wings.
right,
He did. They were constructed out of lightweight fabrics and wooden poles and sailed off the
and
dunes of Kitty Hawk.
yep, and used bicycle parts.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, okay, so this is new ground, and nobody is. Frank, why isn't anyone realizing this? There's enough people in the mystic community that know about this stuff. Why isn't anyone even occur? Hasn't occurred? None of the articles, none of the videos. They're all concerned about the flashy aspects of AI, and hardly anybody's talking about tulpas, except for a handful of people, and none of them are linking it with AI. Am I going up the wrong ladder? Is this the wrong thing?
What
Because
it
I
is,
see this is happening.
honestly, there is a mental set point. Those who are heavily into mysticism and you know the the esoteric arts, they are harking back to a previous time, back when the technology wasn't as prevalent as it is now, and
Hmm.
they cannot see the connection. They see the technology as completely artificial and is not part of nature, not part of the biosphere. However, um, silicon circuits, it's all it's all organic. We may have put it together a little weirdly. We may have had to mix a few compounds up, but it's all from the earth. Everything's from the earth.
Hmm. Playing with rocks and dirt. Shadow and Sun, welcome back to the show, man.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. How you doing, guys? Frank?
Pretty good.
Hey, Shadow.
We're
Glad to hear.
tackling a big topic tonight, dude.
Cool.
AI. And
Oh,
it has been, now it's not the mainstream AI talk. Like, will it take over the banks, the computers, the people, the nothing like that. It's about thought forms, because this has been, and I've been talking about this little bit here and there for over 2 years, and I figured I'd have a whole show about it. And unfortunately, just so you know, uh, I got to make it a short show tonight because I've got an
okay.
early morning thing to go to.
You know what? That's weird. Me too. Not just me, but the guys on my show.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. It's a new month. Raring to go. And I got a bunch of crap. I got a bunch of yard work and stuff I got to do tomorrow. Today was the first day I could walk around with a T-shirt. Yesterday, couldn't do it. Today, not a problem. Not freezing my butt. I mean, I know it's hard to complain when I'm in California, but it's been an incredibly long, cold winter here for us, who aren't used to colder climes. 28 and 30 degrees is still, sorry guys, nothing I can do about that. 20, 30, 28, 30 degrees is still cold. I don't care who you are, unless you live in Antarctica, it's freaking cold. And so I need to get working on the garden and get my plants in the ground and stuff like that ASAP. So I wish I could have got here sooner, but
No, you had your own stuff going on.
Yeah.
No, the weather has been. There you go. Actually, Nathan, that's probably a very good example of a thought form. The weather that beat the ever-living snot out of California this winter.
Hmm.
So many people wanted rain. They wanted the drought to end. So, how pounded was California?
We're technically still in a drought from what I hear, even though I can see snow. I mean, I could hit snow with a 22 rifle right now, but it still was 60 degrees today.
Yeah. Yeah. Now down here, we hit 83, I think, today.
Wow.
I'm in the middle of the desert.
Well,
Me too. Technically high desert, but I literally leaving my house this afternoon. I can see snow.
Yeah.
About a mile or two away, and it's gonna melt. But my boy is about ready to be able to start riding his bike again to school. So, new month. Let's make the best of it. Not let the other stuff get us down.
No, it's a new month. I mean, Lynn and I just had our 22nd wedding anniversary.
Excellent. Congratulations.
congratulations, y'all.
Let's look forward to another 22.
I'm not going to settle for 22. Sorry. It's going to have to go a bit longer than that, as far as I'm concerned.
Longer.
All right. You're going to go full cybernetic conversion. Is that the deal?
No, that's the part of the thought form. It's becoming an energy being, and you don't have to worry about the rest of that crap.
Fair enough. Although, I hate to admit it, I'm kind of attached to this old body of mine. I don't know. As much time as I can get out of it, and sure,
Oh yeah.
There will come a point where I will be, quite happy to get the hell out of Dodge, so to speak. But that hopefully is going to be a ways away. I got stuff to do that actually take fingers to do. So
yeah. Well, I'm not going to leave this mortal shell until I'm ready.
Same.
But I'm too damn stubborn to give up that easily.
Yeah. Although I mean that whole thing that they're trying to push, the TikTok thing with all the sneaky stuff that's hidden in it. I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
It's just something else to get people riled up. That's what it is. It's a distraction.
Hey, Justin, welcome to the show, buddy. He was in my show just a minute ago.
Okay.
Now, when you have some distractions that people are trying to, you always have some rabble rouser who's trying to get things done their way, and they're going to do whatever they can to make that happen. And if it means pointing Congress at TikTok, okay.
Well, the other stuff that's in it, right?
You mean the law governing it that they proposed?
Yeah. Not just the TikTok. It's the other stuff. It's
right.
The no VPNs. If you say anything, they can just take you. Period, and you'll never see a courtroom. They'll just, black hole you.
Yeah, sounds like a really revisitation of the. I can't remember. I'm getting tired, y'all, of the national security stuff from a few years ago.
Oh
Patriot Act.
But on steroids, pumped up
Right.
to 11.
Right.
Well, I haven't really heard what they've been blathering on about as far as TikTok and that stuff is concerned. I don't deal with TikTok.
Well, no, it's not about that. It's about what you're allowed to say.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Not TikTok is a smoke screen. You won't be allowed to have a VPN.
Right.
If you say anything that they think contradicts national security in any way, shape, or form, they can literally just take you, and you're just going to do 20 years in a black hole somewhere. If not a lot less, because they don't have to talk about what they did to you.
Yeah, I read over that proposal, and it is, oh man, it is a Trojan horse for sure. The smoke screen part of it is TikTok is bad, and that's what they're putting up there. But turn on page 2, you got all this stuff about your VPNs cannot exist anymore. Any private things have to be. You have to, all your devices, anything, even not networked, and it's like, whoa, hold up, that's totalitarianism, electronic totalitarianism, and that is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
And if that goes through, AIs will also be illegal unless they're in control of them. You will. I know people who are working on their own, and it's like, nope, you can't do that because we said so. You might come up with something that we don't like. Free speech that won't exist anymore.
Yeah, I will go ahead and get a link ready to put in the description after the show. And strangely enough, this comes from Mainstream. And Mainstream is saying, oh, this is such a good thing. We need to protect our people from things like TikTok.
Does anybody here even use it? I seriously doubt any of us use it.
I don't.
No.
I was, but then I started, you know what? I started feeling weird. And like I had to go back because I wasn't feeling good. I had to go. It was like a drug, like that dopamine. I needed that dopamine of those 5 second, 10 seconds shots because I was starting to like get moodier than moodier, like all unstable. And here it comes. With
Yeah,
TikTok.
I actually heard about that, YJ. Yeah, it's they're terrified of us, and they're they're getting more scared than we are.
I have to read that. Let me see here. Okay, yeah. Including Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. I keep Facebook at a distance. I keep all this stuff at a distance. I mean, that's why you only see me on certain times of the week. I don't mean YouTube. I mean on Facebook. I'm not on there all day. I will check in.
I haven't been on Facebook in months. I just, you too, Rockstar.
The only reason I went on Facebook was to get the link for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to me,
haven't
Facebook,
sent it to me in Messenger, but yeah.
Messenger and Facebook to me are still the same thing. They're just a different part of this, a different click away.
Right, okay. But I've got it on a separate thing, and I only go into YouTube occasionally to check on some gaming stuff. But it's just a time sink that I don't have time for. If I'm going to waste some time, I'm going to be playing some Knights of the Old Republic. There, Nathan. I just got it Monday. I don't know if you saw the video Monday. My buddy sent me his old Xbox, and my son and I have been playing the crap out of that just to get some old school gaming in it. But God, I love Knights of the Old Republic. Best freaking game I've ever played on the TV ever. Just freaking love it.
Mm.
So before we get on to AI, real quick, what was the fig you were working on?
Oh, it was this one, and I was just touching up the paint a little bit.
I knew it. I knew it. Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it, dude. I freaking knew it because I was thinking Luke has got no touch up whatsoever, white and khaki. Okay,
Yeah, not
there's
that
nothing.
one.
And the other one is all khaki, so I'm like, it's got to be the X-wing.
Yeah.
Freaking love that one as a kid, dude. I
Me
actually
too.
have one of those. I've got an autographed Jango Fett by the actor, and I've got
Cool.
an original. I've got an original Chewbacca still in the package from 1977. But other than that, my son got to play with all the other stuff, and it's all in good shape. You know, he was really good about playing with my toys, but yeah, I'm a big nerd.
Yeah, that's the one I was working on, and I took my took my chances with some paint pens, and they're doing pretty good. As long you got to be very easy on them because they'll just blot out a big dollop of paint if you're not careful with them. You got to just be very careful with them.
What are you using?
So
Sorry, I missed that part.
these paint pens,
Oh,
I got them.
okay, cool.
I got them on Amazon, and
Gotcha.
it's the kind where you push down on the tip and the paint floods
Yeah.
forward.
Mhm.
I wrecked plenty of stuff using these in the past, but it's just you can't go full bore with them. You just it's like you got to be very specific. I mean, they're very fine tip, and that's great. And they're not.
Have you looked into Gundam pens,
I have,
Gundam markers? Okay.
and I haven't gotten one yet, but I'm thinking about it. Where it fills in the lines.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. This is kind of the same thing, except it doesn't like dump it out. It dumps it out in a big blech.
Yeah. I'm an old paintbrush guy, but I have been looking at pens lately, just because there's some stuff I want to do that's really fine line stuff like that. I'm getting ready to do a bunch of like tanks and artillery and things like that. So I thought, you know what? Maybe that's the route I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I've literally got, hold on. See if you can see this.
Hey guys, I'll be back in just a minute. I gotta do something.
Okay.
You see all those?
You're frozen. You are frozen.
Okay, how about now? Can you see?
You're freezing up. I can see.
Really?
I can see. I can see a bunch of something on a table, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, they're all little bottles of paint.
Okay. I saw rows and rows of, I guess, bottles
White
of
cap.
paint.
Yeah. Literally, I've got hundreds of bottles of paint, and
Yeah, me too. I've got a whole storage bin full of paints over here that I've just I haven't used them all.
That's like half of it, but it's on my right hand side on my table where I'm sitting now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I'm I get OCD when I get to painting, and the pens kind of restrict me there because I can't go OCD painting with the pens. With the brushes, I have it all across my desk, and I have the palette here, the water here, the brushes here, the razor blade over here, and the toothpicks over there. You know what I'm talking about. And all this fine, tiny detail stuff. And I just go at it. Like the worst was when I did my Cybermen squad. It was just full of Cybermen parts. And it was silver, black, and going over and wait to dry. And it was like an assembly line of painting These are drying. These are wet. I got to take a minute, take 5 minutes, put the fan on them over here, let them dry before I start up on them again. And it was, whew, I got some cool product out of it, but it was just, it took over my mind for about 6 hours. And I couldn't see when I was done because everything's so like that, you know? And,
Yeah,
but
YJ, I'm a big Vallejo fan too, but Army Painter's speed paints, oh my God, those are a dream to work with. Reaper's good too. I'm not a big fan of Citadel, but that's because they charge way too much for just not enough actual product compared to anybody else, and they're not that much better.
it, I get the stuff when it comes to paint in bottles, I get whatever's at Walmart, and I do a lot of pre-processing and post-processing, which kind of I guess the Army speed paint would cut out a lot of that because
Well,
I have to.
you don't use washes, do you?
I do sometimes, just
Oh,
not
okay.
a
Our
ton.
speed paints are like a contrast paint. It's like a paint. It's like an ink wash sort of thing where the darker parts of the color seep into the cracks and crevices and leave a lighter shade up above. So,
Hmm.
like if you were like, for example, on Luke's jumpsuit, the orange part, they don't have an orange, but if they did, it would be darker in the wrinkles,
Hmm.
for like shadowing, and the upper
I get
raised
it.
areas. It's just, and when you're working with, things that are only 28 millimeters tall, it really brings those little crevices and things, it just gives you a better contrast. You see, it's
Yeah.
not just a flat, like when you painted the old metal miniatures back in the day, it was just okay. His cloak is just yellow, you know, you couldn't see the little folds. Well, with this kind of stuff, you could see the folds because they're darker. Like the
Hmm.
valleys are dark and the mountains are freaking lighter. It's just
Right.
that simple.
I got it. I got it. It's like when I do droids, I will put some. What I do is I will put some darker something in the cracks and crevices and then
Uh-huh.
wipe it off gently and it will stay down in there and it will look like dirt stuck in a corner and
Right,
it
right.
will I get you, I don't do too much with that, but I have done it. The
Mhm.
aliens, the Karn figures are really good for doing that with.
Oh yeah, they got
They
some
got,
serious nooks and crannies.
yeah.
Justin, I actually have a really good recipe for contrast. Remind me later. It's not just flow inducer. I start with an ink, matte medium, and then flow aid, and in the right measurements. It's the same recipe on Goober Town, and it works like a charm. And if you buy like a Dr. Martin's set of like 10 or 12 different colored inks, which is $28. And then the two bottles for under $50, you can make, you know, 20 or 30 bottles of contrast paint. So it saves money, but you got to do the work. It's kind of like me rolling cigarettes. Sure, it's a hell of a lot cheaper, but, one of these days, I'll get some sort of count on how much time I've spent actually rolling cigarettes versus just popping open a pack, which, you know,
Hmm.
very
Oh,
expensive.
hey, YJ, let me tell you, Black 2.0 and 3.0 are really bad about that. Where if you let them sit even in the bottle, the stuff will get hard, and that's a $30 bottle of paint, $40 bottle of
Yeah,
paint. Black
yeah.
2.0 and 3.0, you have to keep shaking them like, or they will just. I could get it out right now, and I'll have a big chunk of paint come out the lid, come out the neck of it, because just the air
YJ,
inside the bottle.
there's a cheaper alternative to ball bearings because those can actually run you, like $10 for 100. You can also use like I think it's either like glass beads or things like that you can get at like Michaels or something like that. Um, that'll work. But another thing is instead of going with like $100 paint mixer, you can get like a $30 nail polish mixer, and you just put the bottle in there, and it'll shake it up at like sonic speeds. You know, in 1 minute, it's like what you would do over the course of an hour of shaking it nonstop. I mean, sure, you're going to get some big biceps doing that, but you know, we're nerds. That's the last thing we want, right?
Oh, okay. I put up a thing. The chat went through before I could. Whoops. Lynn asks, when we finish painting, what do we do? Sometimes yeah, like he said, spray lacquer, like hairspray, or there's a stuff called dull coat where it doesn't give it a glisten, but it does preserve it like a clear coat, but it's not shiny. It's very, it's very specific, right? And I think it's a tester's thing. It's called dull coat, but
Yeah, yeah.
okay, it is testers. Okay, um,
That's one brand. There's others out there, but yeah, I don't use testers anything anymore because it usually requires paint thinner, and I'm an acrylic guy, and I just don't want the, you know, I had some bad experiences with testers paint back in the day as a kid. It was great for model kits, but you know, I've moved on.
yeah, and plus testers is expensive. You get this tiny little thimble full of paint for the same that you get for a big bottle of paint somewhere else of acrylic. And when I saw the
These little
prices, I
guys right
was,
here, these little guys are between $4 and $5, and they're less than an ounce.
what is
This
that?
is Reaper. This is actually Reaper, but the guys, this is aren't. They're all about industry standards. They're all about the same exact. These are two different companies, but they're pretty much the same. 0.75 or 18 milliliters. But yeah, they're
Right.
about $4 to $5 a bottle, and I've got hundreds of them. And my birthday's coming up this month, and I'm getting another 30 or 40 in this new set that's coming out in May. And yeah, it's a hobby,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting more into I'm getting back into painting and customizing. And well, with this guy, you know, I set them in front of me and something strikes me to go ahead and make it happen. And I get just inspiration come over me. I'm like, here's the paint, here's the thing, let's just do it. And I just do it. And like I said, the pens let me not go OCD because I would paint all day and all night, and I wouldn't be able to see because I'm like doing this number so much, and the light's super bright. I got this lamp that I use, and it's super bright because it's kind of dim in the room. But
better hurry, Raven. It's
hey
going to be a short
Raven,
show tonight.
yeah, Raven is coming in. She wanted to be on the panel. It is going to be a short show, but I'm thinking an hour because I've just got stuff to do tomorrow. I've got to drive to Kentucky, you know, and I'm going to Kentucky with my sister. Oh my gosh, it's already an hour. I'm looking at the time, not the timer. Woo boy. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to the topic. Back to any of these topics, right?
Sorry to derail the
know
show again.
we needed it. It's part of it. This is part of it. I had a heck of a week, and this is part of it. That's fine. But yeah, started out with Tulpa's AI's humans quantum computing, and I gotta say, AI has no is not going to have any luck with quantum computing. It's going to be all ones or all zeros, and that's basically what quantum computing deals with: one state, another state, and we're the ones. What they haven't come to find yet, technically, the mystics already know mystically that we're the ones controlling it. It's not a chemical mechanical reaction all by itself. We're When you're talking quantum computing, with regular computing, it is predictable electrons doing this, doing that, shunting them this way, shunting them that way. That's the computer. The one we're on now, the phone we're on now, that's hardware computing. Quantum computing has another element to it. And AI don't got that element. It's going to be acting just like a regular computer. It won't speed it. I don't see it. Not now. Not right now. See, this came up on Amy's show a few days ago. She covers AI a little bit, right? Nowhere near as deep as we do here. Love Amy to death, but you know, we dig deep here. And uh but AI does not have the chops to tackle quantum computing because there
Not
is
yet.
an element, huh?
Not even close. Not yet.
Mm-mm. I mean, AI is cool. AI can do some serious stuff. I talked about OpenAI, GPT-3, GPT-4, ChatGPT. I talked about those in the first hour. And yeah, there's some serious stuff going on with it. But it's not quantum. Not yet. I don't think it can be, honestly, unless you bring in a tulpa. And tulpas are not going to be accepted by the tech community as actual things because they don't understand it. And Frank was saying there's a division between that line of thinking and the other because on the mystical side of stuff, tulpas are a reality. On the technical side of stuff, tulpas are just an idea.
An abstract
Well,
concept.
You
right,
might
and
as
it
well say
doesn't.
gremlins to them. You might as well tell them it's gremlins.
Yeah, 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 and they can't put the two together. However, you give it to the random user who has access to operate an AI, and then you give them also access to create a tulpa. Now, should they choose to, they could create that tulpa with AI backing, but no one's done that yet. I think I am the only one who has done that, and it was inadvertent and it didn't work, but it still could because the AI is still there, the ability to make a tulpa is still there, and I have access to both. I mean, this is my practical experience show. I don't talk about stuff that I can't do, right? And I have done this. It sounds weird. Wait a minute, Nathan from the Quantum Show. When have you ever made an AI? I didn't make it. It was given to me, and I used it. I use it. We all use it. Google. I talked about
Mm.
this first hour. Google, Alexa, Siri, all of them. Those are AIs, but those are assistants like super Roombas with an encyclopedia. You know,
Right.
not like a personal companion AI where you get emotionally invested, and it takes that. And no, it doesn't take that. You give it. You imbue that thing. Now, this
Oh
particular
no,
one I'm working.
I really like my Roomba.
Yeah, I do too. I like Roombas. I've got one of the generic knockoffs, and it's just so neat, so cheap and crappy. It's a bump and go. It's so funny. I want to make a droid out of it.
Well, it is a droid.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, I got to show you this. Speaking of robots and AI and all that stuff, this is one of those things from Five Below. It was not $5, but it was kind of like it. This is so silly. It is. You remember the bump and go toys? That's what it is. It's a bump and go, and you just turn it on, and it just starts sweeping and going in a little circle in a direction. Little circles like
Mhm.
scrubbing. It's nothing AI about this thing. Not a thing. $20 of robot parts that I couldn't print. I was like, yoink.
Surprised you didn't grab a couple of them.
Yeah, well, they're still out there, and this is a big 11 inches too. This is not one of those little ones. I've got one of the
Mhm.
little ones, and they're neat for playing with cats. But this is a big one. It's like that thick and 11 inches wide. Awesome, perfect
The
droid.
thumb's about the size of my Roomba. It's pretty decent. Unfortunately, it broke one of the sweeper broom things on it, the little brushes. So
Yeah.
I gotta come. I'm gonna have to like pin, use my pin vise drill and not just glue it, but put it together so that it's got something in between the two glued connections. What's up,
Uh,
Lamblin? Hope you had a great week.
Lamblin, what did you miss? You missed quite a bit, I'm sorry to say. We're talking about AI and tulpas, and well, you saw the title of the show, and you get technicians that don't do mysticism stuff. Then you got AI. You get mystics that don't do too much of AI and technical stuff, and you get tulpas. But you get somebody like me and Frank. We have access to both. Frank too. Okay, you get Frank and I. We have access to both, and we can put them together intentionally or not. And I think people like me and Frank have good enough moral compass to program it, inherently imbuing it, not telling it what to do, but by being a good example, right, of how it picks up ethics and right and wrong, like they seem to have problems with in strict AI speak, ethics and right and wrong. And, to be totally honest, if they were to teach AI how to process the three, basically the Wiccan Reed or Arquis three main laws, three main rules, I think it would be okay. And those three rules are in no particular order for Arquis: energy out, energy in. Now I can't remember. Can't remember them. Yeah, Lamblin tulpas. Yes, tulpas. Thought forms that take on a semi-conscious way where people are completely supporting them and forming them and um, recharging them like golems, except golems are a different thing. Golems are more, they're different. Have to be, you have to go back to the first hour because, man, I need to,
A
we
good
might go,
example, a good example of a tulpa, believe it or not, is the Mandela effect, where so many people believe that this is the way something was that it
The way
becomes
the
it
way it is.
becomes quote unquote the truth. However, go back and actually look at the situation, you realize that the interpretation was wrong. But since everybody still believes that so heavily, that is now the fact. That is now the reality.
okay, I'm going to have to disagree with you there because I've experienced this stuff firsthand. I've covered it here. And yeah, the Mandela effect in general society may be bad memory, bad interpretation of an original thing or something, fact. However, uh, I have had some interesting experiences, and it's not did I leave my keys on the dash or the seat? It's not that. It's like this person died. Next week, they never died. And
Like
I'm
Woody Harrelson.
go ahead, talk about it.
I I could have swore I literally remember hearing that Woody Harrelson passed away, but that ain't the case. Apparently,
No, I don't remember hearing that one.
All I
and
was
that could
saying
just
was
be
all I was saying is it was similar. The concept of the tulpa, which is giving thought, using a thought form, using energy to create this thought form, which holds the belief or the instructions, the knowledge of the person who's creating it, is not unlike the Mandela effect, where if enough people believe it, it is therefore shunted over to being a truth.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I understand. Okay, I do understand. Yes, I can agree with that. The concept of the Mandela effect with the concept of a thought form.
Right.
I got you. All right. I thought I was going down a different path with that one, but that's okay. We don't need to go. That's okay. Yeah. L.A. Lynn is saying you are worth it. Yes. Yes. Yes, you are. Okay, Raven. See you soon. No, Samo. Not at all. Not at all. So many. You are in the right show right here. You are in the right place. You know what? You are here because Quantum said be here. That's what. And the chain of events that led up to you being here have brought you here. And no, not at all. Third eye is very wide open to some of us. So, yeah, no, you're in the right room, bro. You're in the totally right room. And that's a great question. And we all,
Actually, Samo, you were always going to be here. That's the way of the quantum. You know, that simply, you know, from the beginning of your life path, whatever it was, at this date, at this time, you were going to be here, because that's just the way it is.
mm-hmm. See what your third eye says about that, bro. Not a challenge, just good vibes. And oh, okay. But yeah, to catch everybody up, man. Okay.
What YJ? I remember that she passed away last month, was it? Oh no, not Roddy Piper, Raquel Welch. And now she's in the news again. I don't know how that's even a thing, because I know for a fact she passed away. A bunch of my friends and I we were talking about it. Yeah, we will have to talk about that later. That's weird.
Yeah. And Samo, yeah, you have, man. You have found a home here. You have
Absolutely.
definitely. This is it. This is the manifestation. This is the nexus of all those other shows. They've got their thing going on. This is the nexus right here. This is where it comes together. And though they may disagree, that's okay. They can disagree. And we're the only ones talking manifestation and quantum reality and manipulating our realities. Nobody else is talking about that. And I'm not even trying to break new ground. Yet here we are talking tulpas and AI. Nobody else is talking it. And I would love for this to go mainstream. What do they call that? Trending? I would love for it to go trending. Hey, make this shirt go trending. Go ahead.
Why? What's the shirt say?
It's my Final Faction shirt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I would love for this to be trending, right? Tulpas and AI? What's a tulpa? All of a sudden, we got a cult springing up. And this guy did it on the Quantum Show. He did it. He started all this. No, I didn't start it. I totally didn't start it. Tulpas are old magic. Not me.
Well, it's actually it's calling it old magic. It's actually a very definition of what is quantum. Because remember, one of the definitions of quantum energy, quantum theory, is that we know it's like the blind emitter test. You have a hole in the hole in the plate, and these particles go through there. You know they're going to go through there. You know they're going to go through, and it's going to be the certain way. But if you actually watch it happen, the very act of you watching it changes the pattern.
You're talking about the double slit experiment.
Yep.
I know that one. And people have tried to shoot that one down, but you can't because the evidence is right there.
Yeah. If you see the results you have this experiment going on. You're not paying attention to it. It's just doing its thing, and then you go back and look at the results. Okay, yeah, it did exactly what you thought it was going to do. But if you're sitting there actively monitoring it, it doesn't work.
Right. It
It's
does something
it's
totally
that
different.
concept of your observation, your thoughts on it, your thought about this process changes the quantum flow. It
Ch-
changes the energy and
right.
makes it a different result. And that
Makes it,
happens with everything we do.
yeah. And since we're all over this, something's going to happen. Watch something pop up. I bet I got a quarter. I'll bet a quarter. Something in the news comes up about something to do with tulpas, specifically tulpas and AI, thought form and AI, in the next week or so. Because now it's out there. I've been thinking about this for 2 years, but now it's out there. It's on the electronic scape.
Cortana.
Cortana is listening. Bing is listening. ChatGPT is listening. Uh-oh. I think we lost Shadow. He may be back. I thought I saw him pushing buttons.
Or maybe it was it was Cortana on his computer. Or Cortana
Maybe.
on yours.
Well, maybe. Mine could be.
I actually kicked that bit out of my system. Uh,
Yeah, my computer, I don't know. I mean, the one I'm using right now is, well, this is a tablet. This is an iPad, and it seems to work and like me, and everything's Hakuna Matata. My computer, however, I built this thing, and everyone who hears the specs of it can't believe I'm doing anything with it now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing everything with it now because I know how to work it, and I know how to maintain it, and I know, yeah, maintenance could always be better, but it's definitely got a personality of its own. And I don't know if it's me getting used to its quirkiness, but hardly anybody can use this computer. People get on it, oh, it's so slow, all the pop-ups. And I'm like, I don't have any of that problem. That never happens to me.
depends on where they're going when they're on your computer.
Yeah.
See,
And oh,
they're begging for it, so they get it. They want
yeah.
to prove your computer's bad, so it'll be bad for them.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. See, I have all y'all on the show, and y'all make me see things from a different perspective because I get so wrapped up in my own, I guess, my own ego. And Samo's talking. Um, left. We were mid chat. Shadow got to close to our Nathan. Then after that, I look up to him, Nathan, and I'll make it on. Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, that's nice, man. That feels good. It does. Okay. I would like to address this. Justin, the current versions of AI are not as powerful as you think they are, not capable of independent conclusion, our interpretation, let alone extrapolation, or intuitive development. Yes and no. Okay. I've seen some really um, intuitive things come from GPT-3. I'm talking a thing that's 3 years old. GPT-3. And these are not like an operating system. All right. You don't, if you have a system and you put an operating system on that hardware, okay, then you don't, it doesn't take over every bit of that hardware and is limited to that hardware. And you can take these AI and you can take a network of computers, right? This is how I have seen them work. It's kind of like multi-thread processing, where you have one hardware package, but you have four cores. For an example, right? Shadow is coming back in. His devices are connecting, are working on coming in. But you can literally, there he is. You can literally take these AI, stack them up, copy paste them, and they will become more powerful exponentially, not just one, several of them. And then you add more hardware because your stuff starts to slow down, just like a computer, right? They get stronger. They share evenly amongst themselves because that's logical. It's not logical to have one where a single point of failure is not logical. Oh, I could go on. The AIs are quite powerful. They're not quantum. That's what I'm saying. They're not quantum yet. Now, me and Frank are on the scene. They might become quantum.
God help us if
So,
they do.
huh?
God's help us if they do,
Yeah.
because we're
We're
crazy.
and it, me and Frank can make it happen, and me and Frank can stop it. And I'm not just making us sound like badasses, okay? I heard that. I heard that laugh in the background.
Yep.
But
Sorry,
it's that.
guys. My devices are getting messed with.
Okay. Little wonkiness. I hear you.
It's been happening for a couple of days. Just I've literally got a phone and two tablets sitting all right next to each other right here right now. So one went out, but I was still paying attention to part of the show. But and I just picked up YJ. I just picked up a new computer today, and I got another one in the mail. So one way or another, I'll be connected to you guys.
Okay.
You'll get your ducks back in a row.
Oh yeah, you'll get it
Yeah.
going on. Well, I'm glad you got another computer, man. Two computers.
Yeah, yeah. One's a gift from a friend of mine, and the other one I had to pay harder, and yeah, right, money. I haven't worked hard in years.
But I'm glad you got them, man. Cool.
Yeah, it's a nice one, and I met a cool guy who who sold it to me at Best Buy, was it? Hopefully, you guys will get to meet him either on my show or I'll tune him into this show, see what he thinks of it. He's more of a gamer guy, but we were talking other stuff, and he might be one of those guys. So we'll see.
Okay. Hey, we have new titles, Frank.
What are our titles? There's no banner.
Well, Destic C just said Frank and Nate, Quantum Warriors. Awesome.
But not me, not me. I'm what? I'm just top liver.
Oh no.
I see how you guys are.
I would prefer Quantum Overlord myself, but that's neither here nor there.
I went on a diatribe. Sorry about that, and that just.
Yeah, you know what? That reminds me. I asked Raven a question a while ago. About the whole manifestation thing. I don't know if I can do that. Not because I can't do it, but because I'm terrified that I could end up doing something that would like how you've jumped realities. I can't do that. I can't allow myself to do that. I don't want to get stuck with a different version of my son. I want to stay with the original. You know what I mean?
Okay, Shadow.
Kind of like
Let me address that for you. The manifestation, anybody can do it. Truly, anybody can do it. But you have to see very clearly what you want to happen, and you direct the energies toward that. Now, you can put up there, if it's good for us, if it's good for me, if it's good for this, if it's in the best interest of the world, I want this to happen, or this will happen. If it's
Mhm.
not, let me have something else. Make a deal. But usually, manifestation is not going to directly move you from manifestation in this timeline, unless you really want it to, will not move you to another timeline.
Yeah, I can't even risk that. That would,
So,
I mean, yeah,
and you wouldn't. Moving between timelines is an interesting concept. Being a time walker is a pain in the ass. But you don't have to choose that. You can choose to manifest in this reality what you want in this reality, and make sure that you concentrate that here in this space where I am with my family as it is, this is what I would like to see happen. And that way, it again, it's the funnel concept. You're funneling that universal energy into a particular location at a particular place at a particular time, and you're focusing what you want it to do. It will never shoot you in another timeline if you don't want to go there. But if you want to escape, it might help you. But then you might not be able to get back.
I'll get back to you on that. Right now, other than what we were talking about earlier, I'm good. I'm cool with where I'm at. Although I could use some help finding something. It's not my car keys, but it is something that I lost, and I need to know whether it was stolen or not. So, Nathan, you can talk to your friends or whatever. If you got any advice how to find out how to find something that's lost,
Go here, pendulum.
because I don't want to play. What?
Use a pendulum.
Okay.
Can you
He doesn't know
It's a
how to
pendulum.
do that. Welcome to the show, Raven.
Okay.
No, it's
Hi.
not that I don't know
It's
how.
really
I couldn't
easy.
tell what it was. I was because it was moving.
mine-
I couldn't tell what was moving.
Okay. Now mine's a quartz and it's got an amethyst ball on the top. But you can use a bullet. You can use a ring, just some kind of a weight on the end of a chain, and you wrap it
Mhm.
around. Then you ask it. I hold it above my hand like this. Ask it to show you what yes looks like. And it will most often go like this, up and down. Most often. Sometimes it'll go around in a clockwise circle. Just put your
Okay.
elbow down on the table and hold it over the palm of your hand. No, then you say, show me what no looks like. And most often it will go sideways, like this. Okay.
Mhm.
Then you ask, was this item stolen from me? And just hold it and then see what it does.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
That'll give me the half the equation. That'll give me half the equation. The actual location of it. That's the next step.
That's where you're going to have to, with this, you're kind of limited, but you just got to get creative. So just start with process of elimination.
So I could be there all day. Okay.
Yeah.
There are other methods.
Yeah, there are. But this is just great for easy, fast reference, yes or no.
I agree.
And sometimes if you're asking a question that you shouldn't be asking, as in you're prying into somebody's business that you shouldn't, or you don't have permission to, a lot of times it'll just stay stagnant or it'll just kind of tremble.
Well, that's my job. I mean, well, at least it was my job, prying into places that none of my damn business. But not going to
Okay.
stop me.
I'll ask it. So is Shadow's missing item stolen? I hear her laughing. And it is going to no. It's going back and forth for me. Okay. Now I'll raise it up. I had to level it up, but it's going back and forth. So that is a no. I don't know if you can see that or not. There. So it's not stolen.
That's good. That's good. I don't. Thank you. I don't like people
Is it
taking
in the
things
house?
that doesn't belong to them.
Is it in the car? Is it you know,
Many times we work very hard to get what we have, and
out for a minute,
we,
it froze
we,
up.
we get it, but we get it because we want it and we need it for what we want to do. And someone else takes it, well, it just makes us very, very upset, very angry.
Believe it or not, it's a non-selfish sort of thing. I can't really go into details, but it is quite literally a matter of life and death. And I need to find out. People can get hurt,
Yep.
and I don't want that. So,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
And with that, I will back away.
Well, whatever it is, I hope you find it. And here's what you
Me
do.
too.
I have found it. It is here. And watch what happens. That's manifestation. It's as simple as that.
Oh,
I have
yeah,
found.
I'm pretty well versed in that sort of thing. I'm just incredibly, I don't know, blessed that there's, almost anything, I need or want, I have access to. Other than just, stuff that I want up here, information, answers to questions and things like that. There's no material possession that,
Right.
that I'm,
I
you know,
hear
You can hold these over a map, or if you've got like the blueprints
Right.
to your house or something.
Oh,
And
no,
just-
I'm really well. I'm really familiar with the whole pendulum thing. When I asked, I thought there was something specific at the end, like you were showing me, like an ankh or something like that. I couldn't see it because it was literally moving. But yeah, I've actually I've used that before. Once upon a time for things. I even had not a Ouija board, but a board of, not just yes and no, but colors and things like
Right.
that, so that it would make it easy to do. But it wasn't, it might as well have been a Ouija board, but it wasn't. It was just something I whipped up with, everything but, the hello and goodbye on it, basically.
Yeah. Do you know how to use your body as a divining rod? It's really easy, and you just have to relax. Have your feet, about the same width as your shoulders, and close your eyes. Ask the question out loud, and then see if you're pulled forward. That's a yes, or see if you rock backward. And if you can just totally relax and get in a really neutral state, you can use yourself as a same thing. as
Kind of
what
like
you're
kind of like the way people divine for water.
Precisely.
Kind of, yeah. I got my. Yeah. I love these things. These things are fun. They are a lot of fun. They can be anything. And to play with these things, in fact, I was just talking about these on my show this last week. If you can get them here, just get them neutral, and then start thinking about something that really awful that happened to you, or somebody you just can't stand. And I think you said right now, look, see how they go sideways? They go away.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, oops, hold on here. Now think of something positive. I got a really positive memory and I'm laughing. And look how they cross. That's just with emotional energy. These things
Okay,
are so fun to cool.
Okay, now, what are how are they made? I got the end part. So there's nothing that revolves at the handles or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just
you
a
can-
solid, two solid.
No, there's a little thing that
Okay,
goes over
okay.
the end piece. So you're holding on to that, and that way it can move unrestricted.
Okay. I
You can
was
do it with a
curious
coat
about that.
hanger. Coat hanger and a straw. Just cut a straw in half, and a coat hanger.
Okay.
Cut it, and then it doesn't have to be fancy like these are. These were gifts that were made for me, but
Because I've never actually seen them in person. I've done all kinds of research, but I didn't know what the actual handle was. Because there's a lot of people who would say that like the Ouija board is somebody moving it, and I was wondering if the rods, if there was some way you could manipulate it. I suppose there is still, even with the revolving handle,
Well,
but with a
yeah,
revolving
the
handle like
tilt,
that.
if you don't have them, level like that, if you tilt them down, they'll tend to kind of move this way or that way. So you want to hold them level. Yeah, you
Right,
can
right.
do
Okay.
that.
Gotcha.
Now I had some. There was a place at my cousin's house. It was so wild. These things they were spinning like helicopters, and they were going in opposite. Oh, here, before I hit myself, they were going in opposite directions and fast. And all I could gather from that is maybe that there was a vortex there, but they were not going synchronistic. They were going in opposite direction. It was crazy, crazy energy at their house. Yeah, it's fun. I heard you guys talking about the Mandela effect. Frank, you don't believe in the Mandela effect? Is that what?
Oh no, I absolutely believe in the Mandela effect. The fact of the matter is that the Mandela effect is a misinterpretation of something that has become now the truth because so many people believe it. It's a manifestation of an alternate reality.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were talking about was the.
So
Well, I
because
have these two trees from my yard.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, Raven, he didn't understand you.
Oh, I said, well, I believe it. I've had some things happen to me. I've got two trees that are missing from my yard. 2 rowan trees. They were right at the border, and I live on top of this big hill. And when I would go down in the woods underneath, and when I would climb up to the house, I always grabbed a hold of those 2 trees and launched myself up over the edge. They're gone. And it was like the last time when I noticed this about a year ago. I was down there and I came up and I was like, oh my God, where are they? And they're nobody cut them down. Nobody uprooted them. They didn't fall over in the storm. They're just simply not there.
So I went back to the Feywild.
Yeah, there's a lot of fairy energy around here. Is that what you're referring to?
I had no idea.
When you said
Right
fairy?
in. Yes. I see. That's it. I had no idea you had heavy fairy energy there.
Oh, I
The Feywild.
thought that's what you
The
said.
Feywild is a realm in Dungeons and Dragons. It is the realm of the Fey.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay, well, that's what I thought. So I had the wrong idea.
so no, I just simply
Okay.
said you had trees, rowan trees that vanished. But they went back to the Fey realm where they came from.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's simple. It's very obvious.
he was just trying to be funny about it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Was I?
Man, I snickered a little inside. It was, it was in here, but
So when's your birthday? Shadow, I heard you say you got a birthday coming up.
yeah, it's the end of the month.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Thanks,
I
man.
hear her
A
laughing.
lot of cool people on the internet have been really nice to me. I do a show on Sunday where my son and a bunch of other guys, we review a movie. And because I'm obviously I'm a big Western fan, they decided that the whole month we're going to do Western movies. And to give you an idea of what kind of boy I am raising, his pick was, can you guess it, anybody?
Unforgiven.
Nope.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly?
Blazing
They call me
Saddles.
Trinity.
You got it, Raven.
Blazing Saddles?
Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good one.
He's only 14. He's only seen like a couple of clips from it. And he's like, oh, that's the one I want. Because what we'll do is we'll watch the movie and then we'll all, talk about the movie for 2 hours. And that was his pick. I haven't picked mine yet. I'm probably going with either the Magnificent Seven or Good, the Bad, the Ugly. but not sure yet. I'm kind of waiting until the end to see what everybody else picks. That way, I get to pick a good one.
Mhm.
Well, you could always pick, something like Urban Cowboy.
Urban Cowboy. I remember that. How about
Wow, dude.
Mountain?
It's
With
a
John
John Travolta
Travolta.
film where you remember back in the day, right after like Grease and those movies, there was like country western dancing, line dancing was like first becoming a thing. Where
Oh
where
yes, I
actual
remember. Yeah.
dudes were dressing up all country western to pick up ladies. Yeah, it was just a blot on
Find the
our
Cannibal
country's history.
Yeah, horrible
Yeah, I
movie. Horrible movie.
had
Well, I could probably think of a worse Western. You give me time, I'll think of something worse. Though my name is Trinity Script.
It's mostly the guys in the group are really good. Ullman's one of them. Connell's one of them. A couple of the guys you don't know, but mostly don't tell anybody. It's just an excuse to educate my son in the classic movies, because he really doesn't watch TV or movies. It's YouTube his whole life. I mean, he's never watched
oh wow.
an actual TV show more than a couple of times, other than South Park recently. Just didn't grow up watching movies or TV. Just YouTube. And we're trying to fix that. So we've been watching a lot of the classics. We just watched Ben-Hur last week or the week before. That was the week before. Stuff like that. A lot of the old, classic fantasy movies and sci-fi movies. Because otherwise he would just, only watch movies that came out in the theater. And even then, it's been quite a few years since he's been to the theater. He'd rather just do other stuff and listen to YouTube. And, that's not how any of us grew up,
For Western, I'd
Yeah.
suggest how Once Upon a Time in the West. That's
a
an
good one.
iconic. And if you're looking for something else on the fantasy genre, the original Excalibur was a wonderful piece of cinematic
Oh, I
work.
love that movie. I love that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna get to we kind of do theme months because
Right.
each one of the guys gets to pick a movie, and my son's a
Oh,
bit of a
I saw
smart
that.
ass.
I've
He
got to
likes
tell you this.
science fiction.
When
You
I
get Cowboys and Aliens.
I was thinking about that one, to be honest. I know it's not a great movie, but I just did a show today on mixing genres with science fiction. Like how Star Trek was supposed to be a western, things like that. And I like mixing genres, and like sci-fi and horror, or western and horror, or things like that. So
I thought it was going to be
I
really
actually
cheesy,
did
but you know what? It was interesting. I actually enjoyed the movie. I didn't think I would, but I thought it was good.
No, I need to share this. Back when I was in college, I was the president of the Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Club at the university, and we decided to have a worst of film festival.
that sounds like the worst beer testing I was in college. We made the front page of the newspaper by taste testing any 6-pack of beer you could get for under $2. And I was only 19 at the time, but I was in this fraternity, and I'm not that old. And I actually was on the front page of the school newspaper with a bunch of my other buddies, holding up beer, because we were taste testing the worst beers out there, including the blue and white label just says beer on it. Back in the days when that was an actual thing, it was pretty funny. Yeah,
Oh, you didn't have the yellow label with the black print that said beer?
No, that we didn't have that one. That was a little bit before my time, but I do remember that. We bought the napkins that said napkins on them like that, but we didn't buy beer. Um, but because I had taken somebody else's place in the contest because the guy was late, um, when he finally got there, he served us all. He's like, oh, let me still help out. And so what he did was he went into the refrigerator and found the pickle jar and poured pickle juice in each one of our beers. So we take a big old and we just
Ugh.
yeah, it was awful.
Our worst
Beer
of
and
film
pickle.
festival. Our worst of film festival consisted of Plan 9 from Outer Space, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians,
I've never heard
and
that one.
Barbarian Queen.
Never heard of Barbarian Queen. I'm
I've
writing that
never.
down on my
I,
list.
Me neither.
yeah, me neither.
Oh yeah.
I've seen all the others.
What got my interest on it is the cover art was done by Boris Vallejo.
Of course it was. Him or Frazetta, right?
Yeah, but this was Boris, and it was a beautiful cover art. People in it could act for crap, but
Hey Nathan, you'll get a kick out of this. When it was Jackie's pick a couple of months ago, he actually went to Dollar Tree, okay, and picked out a movie called Xenophobia.
How did
Before
that go?
well, hold on. Before that, he picked up The Scientist from Dollar Tree. Now, Xenophobia was better, so much better that they're actually making a sequel to it, but they were still Dollar Tree movies. I'm just going to say that.
oh
Yeah.
I hear Lynn laughing her butt off. Is she laughing at my boy?
at the
What was
movie
that?
choices.
Nathan, that's a condition when one lives in a fantasy that it was like was it FPP or something? Do you remember talking about that? I found that.
Yeah.
It's like a new disorder.
FPPD. FPPD. I remember because of the song. FPPD.
Okay.
Yeah, you know me. FPPD. Yeah, you know me. I
Yeah.
remember it because
So,
of that.
what did it stand for? Fantasy
I
was
don't
the F.
remember. Let me. You know what? Let
Uh,
me try to Google it.
Okay.
This is all news to me. I gotta
Fictional,
I gotta throw
Yeah.
this at some of my friends.
fictional persistent personality disorder. I don't know.
That would work.
I'll
but,
get to it.
There's like a disorder for everything. Have you noticed that? They just keep coming up with more and more disorders.
Yeah,
Was
if you
that one
don't if
that-
you
Well,
don't
yeah,
have a
because that way they
disorder,
can keep.
if you don't have a disorder, that's a disorder.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah. How else are they gonna all get us on the same meds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What
Just
meds?
you know, it's gonna. We're gonna find out we're all taking the same meds. It just looks different. It's got a different shape, a different name, and all this. And eventually, we'll all be on the same Prozac or Xanax or whatever. Just to keep us from wanting to do what needs to be done. I guess.
Instead of
Found
ADD,
it.
we have NDD. No disorder.
I found it.
Okay.
Here you go. I'm going to put it in the chat and pin it. If it'll let
Because
me.
I hold on a second.
Okay, it didn't let me. Fantasy. Okay.
Because I
Am
have
being
the
told not to read
NFT.
this?
I have the NFTD disorder.
NFTD. Okay. No.
G.
NFG.
NFTD.
And I'll get it right one of these days. NFTD.
G. And no blanks to give disorder.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, I found the FPP disorder that we talked about, but this is not what we said, right? This is not what you told me before. Fantasy-prone personality is a disposition or personality trait in which a person experiences a lifelong, extensive, and deep involvement in fantasy. This disposition is an attempt, at least in part, to better describe overactive imagination or living in a dream world. That is not what we talked about. That is not what we talked. We talked about. You gave me the definition of attitude, and it literally was the definition of attitude. If we could find that again.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for that, and it came up under like
Oh,
not
ouch.
Wikipedia, but came up like, let's see, it's an alternative to Wikipedia. It's like oh, I was trying to find that, and I got sidetracked. Hang on here. Let me look.
Lynn just gave me an excellent descriptive body for the for that FPP. I'm not going to repeat it
Oh, okay.
because by some strange twist, they may actually be listening to this. Oh, to hell with it. No, you know, and I agree. It does describe one of my sisters to a T. And she's not even a gamer. I think everyone who plays D&D for any length of time falls under that category.
Mhm. Yeah. What we were talking about yesterday, I can't find it. I can't find it again. When we run across those things, we need to learn to bookmark those, save them somehow, text them to each other or something, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
off. It's
It was
lost
saying
in
that
the
they
ether
were
now.
the Tulpas were just imaginary friends.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, imaginary friends created who have a life and a voice of their own. They live inside the mind but share the body. Unlike the painful, uncontrollable voices associated with psychiatric illnesses like schizophrenia, tulpas help people by providing companionship and advice.
Did you find it? Is that the same page?
Now, I'm going through the same. Well, I'm going in order of how I started to do things last night as I recognize them, and it'll lead me to it here eventually. Okay. Now,
Okay.
let's see. Okay, what do psychologists say about imaginary friends? Is it mentally healthy to have an imaginary friend? I clicked on one of those and then went from there. Okay, on here. Okay. 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 Most imaginary friendships during childhood are considered normal. Okay. This is not an imaginary friend, though. That's okay. That's where we went next in our conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, here, paracosm, right? What is paracosm disorder?
Paracosm.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so paracosm is a state of mind that can affect how one thinks, acts, makes decisions, and feels the surrounding environment. Sometimes it can get out of control, and you may get stuck in the fictorial, unreal world. Paracosm.
That sounds like reality perception
Yeah, it does.
and
Okay.
attitude.
Then,
Years ago,
our imaginary
they-
friends felt trauma.
You're
Years
killing me
ago-
tonight, Justin.
years ago, I had a few quote unquote psychological problems, and I was required to see a counselor. And so they asked me if I ever heard voices. I said, all the time.
Mhm.
I said,
What'd they say?
I'm pagan. I talk to my gods every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk back? Yeah, they talk back. They ever tell you to do things? No, actually, usually tell me not to do things. So I listen to them. Would you rather I listen to them or not? And the counselor went, okay, yeah, no, you're good. Fade to black. Oh God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What is it called when adults have imaginary friends? It says over the last several years, a community of people interacting mostly in online forums discovered a way to create something like imaginary companions as adults. This process is known as tulpomancy And the people who engage in it are called themselves tulpamancers.
I love how all these things are being described by people who don't do the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys,
Um,
it's really simple. Um, just as Christianity is constantly under attack, um, everything else they're building up to everything else, so that the only thing you worship is what the TV tells you to worship. That being the state. So just
Hmm.
be on your guard. Because it's no different. If you hear something, now mind you, that I'm not saying that people with actual, issues, because I know that there is a distinct difference, between like schizophrenia and, what you may just to simplify it, a religious sort of meditative state. You know what I mean? They're not the same. They're vastly different, and they're trying to push it toward the equivalent of anything you hear that doesn't come from your TV is some form of insanity.
So are we heading to the world of Russia's Temple of Syrinx, or are we heading to the world of Styx's Kilroy Was Here?
I think they want to mix, to be honest. I think George Lucas's THX, whatever the numbers come after it,
1138.
is more like what they want. Yeah, thank you. Wait, let me write that down because I keep forgetting. No, I'm serious.
One.
I need to.
That was another one of the movies that we watched in it. 1138.
Yeah,
imaginary.
Keep us medicated and glued to the TV when we're not, on duty. No thanks. I got stuff to do, and it's not what they're telling me to do.
Yep.
If I want to go outside and take a walk or a hike or something.
Yep, and there goes Nathan. It's coffee time.
That was time to get rid of coffee.
Have been misdiagnosed as I think that some of them were true clairvoyants, and they were hearing voices because they were extremely psychic at a time when that art was not acceptable, and so they locked them away as schizophrenics.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. They try to make everybody. The greatest fallacy, I hate to say it, is all men are created equal. They're not. All men are not created equal
not.
Because each person is an individual. The thought processes are individual. Therefore, no one thinks exactly the same way as anybody else. And if they do, or they say they do, they're lying.
Yeah.
Brave New World? Nope.
I want to see like this much of you.
Yeah, I my tablet's playing.
I'll be hat now. Oh.
I laid my tablet down because I'm rolling a cigarette and I need two hands, and I'm downstairs, not upstairs. I wonder where my boy went.
Well, I got a gaming keyboard this week. See, I love this how it's backlit. It was like I'm not a gamer
That's
at least
cool.
yet, but I certainly love the keyboards. Mine got ruined. The cat's knocked over a candle and hot wax poured into it, and even though I put it in the freezer for a while to get the wax cold, and then tried to get it all out with a razor blade, after about an hour, I said, "The hell with this! I'm just gonna go get another one." It's pretty cool.
I would take it out of your cat's allowance. Take it out of your cat's allowance.
No tuna for the whole month of April now. Then I'll have a mutiny.
Great party, no whiskey, we go.
Yeah, they are spoiled. That's okay. Anybody that would like a kitten, I'll drive within 100 miles.
They have you well trained, right?
Can you throw it in the mail in the mailbox?
No, but they do have couriers that are specifically for transport because of they have a whole countrywide network for I think it's called Pets for Pals for Pets or something like that, and they have specialized courier services that'll drive them. They can put them on an airplane, send them out. So it's a Pals for Pets.
Courier
Yeah,
specialized
my
in
my
our
my
fuzzy
my,
friends.
my pooch is a very jealous dog. He would not approve.
He doesn't want a kitten. Oh.
Maybe for lunch.
No, that's terrible. I was late getting on tonight because I have this huge bleak possum that is running amok in my garage, and he lives up in the ceiling, and I can't get the little bastard. And he had come down, and where I've got the kittens in this little canvas zip up little tote thing with their mother, and he was right there sniffing. And I had one of 6-week-old kitten go missing last week, and I'm sure that's who got him. And I got there just in the nick of time. And yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that. I'm not shooting. I hate taking life of anything. I really do. I love animals. But this guy's gotta go. He's huge. He's this at least this big, and that's not the tail. The tail then is another foot or longer, and he's got to weigh every day of 25 pounds at least. And in fact, he's so fat he's fallen through the ceiling. It's just got the little panels on the drop ceiling, and there's a whole bunch of ceiling tiles that are missing up there because he's fallen through. And he broke a fluorescent, one of those old-fashioned 9-foot-long fluorescent tubes. Shattered that. It went off like a bomb down there, and I gotta get that little fat bastard out of there. Is there anything that will lure him out besides kittens? Has anyone had to ever hunt a possum before? Can anyone give me any pointers on how to do this, or to trap him, or something?
Wait a minute. You got a possum in the ceiling?
I got a possum in the ceiling of my garage. Yeah, he's living in the drop ceiling.
Give him a way out. Give him a way out, and then maybe they have a good sense of smell. Put peppermint in there, and he'll try to get away from it. I don't know. That might help.
Oh, that's a
You can always try to lure him out with food too.
But
Unless
Yeah,
he's
make sure,
eating
probably
your.
cats are going to get to it first, though.
make sure he has a way out.
Pardon me?
Make sure he has a clear path out.
What's up, boy? What's up, buddy?
Yeah. He fought me tooth and nail. I had a broom, and I was trying to get him. I had the door open, and I was trying to get him knocked down, and he got away from me. He just hissed at me. My huge little hiss at me.
Is it a big possum? Like full grown, like big one, or
Huge.
It could be a female ready to get looking for a place to have babies.
Oh, great. That's all I need. Jeez. Oh, my God. The raccoons stole my shop vac this week. This is funnier than hell, and I swear to God, I can't even make this shit up. I had left it out on the deck, and the cats had knocked some stuff over and broke a bunch of glass and things. And I'm sitting here. It's like 2:00 in the morning, and I hear this scraping noise, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So I get up and I go out there, and this raccoon is attacking my shop vac. I thought, this is pretty funny. So I ran back to my desk and got my phone. With that.
Oh, I can explain that for you. It's really easy, really simple. In a former life, that raccoon was a dog.
See? Could be. Well, so I'm filming him, and he gets the shop vac down on its side, and he gets the hose taken out, and he's just kind of dragging it along. It's really funny. What's really funny is the reaction of the cats that are looking through the storm door and watching this. And they're looking at him and looking back at me like, "Are you gonna do anything?" Well, there's like 5 steps off the side goes down here to the yard, and he took that thing down there, and I thought that's where it would stay. So I thought I'm just gonna let it go, and I went back to work. So the following morning, when I get up to go out there to fetch the shop vac, it's gone. Gone. They took it. It is nowhere in the yard. I searched the woods. I searched the neighbors. I went everywhere out there, and that thing is gone. They took
Did
the
you
whole
check the
thing.
pawn shops?
It is crazy. They are absolutely crazy. And I've got like a minute and a half of some really funny video right there at the end that proving that they did it. They're nuts. And it's so funny because they're animated anyway, and they just they look like little bandits with the way their eyes with their little back ending. They're funny as hell. What?
YJ's comment here, I just posted up on the screen. Hotbox the attic and get him so baked he heads to the fridge.
Okay.
But
I don't get
then
it.
poor Raven will forget what she was
Weed.
doing in the first place.
Weed smoke.
Oh, okay. Now I got you. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay. I'll try anything, YJ. I'll let you know how it goes. That's good. That's good.
Okay, y'all, I've got to call it a night because I got to get to bed. I got to wake up early. And I've been making myself tired. Even with
Okay.
all the coffee, it doesn't even matter. I got a road trip tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Be safe.
I will. I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. It's been a great quantum show. It's the best show since the last show. And
They
Yeah.
just keep getting better, my friend.
heck yeah. And y'all,
Quantum
Think
or
about-
something.
yeah, quantum or something. Keep this stuff in
Good
Justin
Right.
has just been firing shots all night, man.
mind. When you're
Go back
when you're
and read
thinking,
some of them.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll try. Thank you, Samo. I appreciate it. Samo made moderator today. I don't know what I was thinking not making him moderator. He's moderator in a bunch of different places that I'm at. He does a great job. He watches the chat. He's on top of things. And I appreciate
Anytime,
it.
Samo. You are indeed a rock star.
Yeah, and again, I started it at the beginning of the show, and I want to thank all subscribers. 767 as of right now. Subscribers to the
Awesome.
Quantum Show. Some of them are quantum people, some of them are toy people, some of them are computer people, some of them are 3D printing people, but they're all here. And
They're
like
all
I said,
real
this
people.
is
They're
the
all real
nexus. Yeah, I haven't put the bots on my channel yet. One day.
One day. One day.
One day.
Great. Well, that was a great topic.
yeah.
Nice job. First hour. That was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I really like this topic. I mean, it is hard and fast and deep. And I like
Just do
how
a part 2, man.
I'll have to do
Yeah,
a
you
part
should get
2.
into the egregores.
Yeah, egregores is a good thing. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Cliffhanger ending.
On steroids.
Egregore.
So, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Great. Will you be safe tomorrow? All
Okay.
right. Good night.
All right,
Good night,
everybody.
All right,
Don't
you
forget
guys.
your emergency kit. Have a great week,
And-
everybody.
Have
Hey,
a great
see
week.
lobotomies.
Remember, keep it quantum. Whatever you do, keep it quantum.
Keep it quantum. Right on.
Have a good
Okay.
one, y'all.